everybody, I am Alpha Bird. We're looking at the first featured match for the 3rd Mechanized Corps. The 3rd Mechanized Corps? Yeah, the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. I knew it sounded strange to start off with. So we've got 2 feature matches. This is the first, so make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. And don't miss the 2nd featured match of this division. Thanks very much to all of my YouTube channel members and supporters. Special thanks to Nightmare13, member of the Alpha Birds. And yeah, thanks to all your support, helping me make videos. Right, the matchup we have, 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps, we're on Maverick Income, we're up against Berezina. Hopefully that's kind of close. He's playing he or she or they are playing the 1st Fallschirmjäger on Balanced Income. Let's look at the orders for today's battle. We'll go from left to right. So to start us off, we've got a Tanko di Saniki, a Partisani, an Avto Komroti as a leader, and an Augmented as my infantry units. The Augmented is to run forward, pick up this forest here. The Tanko di Saniki as well, although he's slower and could get sniped from this kind of play. There's less 2-kilometer guns from the start now, so that's less likely. But also it is an armoured transport, so it can handle running down this road. And it's going to drop the Tanko di Saniki off and then push around into the light forest so that I can then utilise it to hold this kind of area, stop the enemy pushing across. The objective here, hold this forest, leave the flag. We can look at the flag later. It's not an initial attack. We just want to stop the enemy attacking through this position. I've got a Valentine Mark 9 to help me out here. It's going to sit in this position. The objective, it can fire at 1,500 distance with the 6-pounder. The objective is to sit here, just stop any pushes forward along this road. Into the centre, I've got a Partisani, it's going to drop off here, and I've got a Valentine as well. The Valentine is going to dominate the open area. And then the Partisan is going to drop off, move forward on foot into a position around about here. Hopefully, if the enemy doesn't push an infantry unit through, then we can pick up that flag. We can sneak the flag here. Right, I'm going to deal with this area in 2 parts. I've got an MG42 that I want to look at now. And I've got some snipers up here because these guys perform pretty much the same role. These guys, the MG42 is going to sit here, and the snipers are going to go into these buildings. Now, the idea with these units is I don't want to engage infantry on infantry, close quarters combat in this town. I'm fighting 1st Fallschirmjäger. The expectation from my perspective is they're going to have much better infantry than I do. So I don't want to fight infantry combat on infantry combat. What I want to do is sit here with my supporting weapons and hammer the sides of this town. So my MG is going to come in here, it's going to plonk itself down, and then anytime an infantry unit on this side of the town pops its head up, the MG is going to start firing at it. The same with this side. The snipers, they're going to sit in this building, and what's going to happen is anytime an infantry unit on this side of the town pops its head, snipers going to start sniping at that unit. So the idea is not to actually kill the units with my own infantry. The idea is to reveal them however we do it and then hit them from the sides. Now I'm extending that not just to those infantry units. We're also going to extend it with the tanks that we're bringing in here. And this is the main tactic from the start. The whole idea with my approach here is to go around the sides of this town. I want to approach and pick up these flags. I want to make a centre push, but I'm not actually going to do it with my infantry. I'm going to do it with my armoured units. Like I said before, I don't want to fight infantry on infantry. The Razvedka, the recon tank, is going to come down and sit in this kind of position. I want to block off anything coming down this road. The Valentine on the left is going to come into this position. I think I've actually got 2 here. I've not selected them both. So we do have 2 here onto the left. They're going to sit in these positions. The idea is they're going to fire off at anything, you know, in this kind of area. A bit risky going into these tree lines. the Valentine is going to take a while to get in there, but there's probably going to be AT guns established at this point. So it is a risky approach. The idea is to cut off this town. So they're going to start firing at the crossroads here. And they're just going to cut off any reinforcements going into this town. And the same for the Valentines on the right-hand side. They're going to sit in this position here. And they're going to cut off any reinforcements going into this town. Once I've got my supporting units in place, I'm then going to roll my infantry up. My infantry units in the centre are going to start spotting units. They're going to get fired on by the MG. They're going to get fired on by the tanks. This side, they're going to get fired on by the snipers. They're going to get fired on by the Valentines. We're going to cut off the town. They're not going to be able to reinforce it. And we're going to win it with our... we're just going to push through with the infantry and surrender what is pinned down. So, at the start of the game, I've just got 2 augmented coming in here to hold, and then a partisani as well. These are solely here to hold the front line forward. I'm not going to attack with these units until my supporting equipment is in place. Then I'm going to start to push forward, and I'm expecting I'm going to need to bring infantry reinforcements in. I've got very cheap infantry, 20-point, 15-point infantry. I can bring them in en masse. Once I've got my supporting equipment in, providing the crossfire, I can then smash through the lines. Finally, on the right-hand side, we've got some units here. I'm not going to cover them exactly. We've got 1 Tanko Disaniki dropping off here, and we're going to use the half-track to help out. And I've got 2 Partisani units just dropping off in here. If you're new to the game, then giving them a fast move order into this area here, and then shift queuing a unload position order is the quickest way to get them into this area. And the safest. It's the quickest and safest way. It might be quicker to go down this road. If you just give them an unload at command unit into this town, what's going to happen is they're going to go down this road. They're going to turn left, go all the way up here. They're going to go all the way to the end here. They're going to turn right. They're going to get sniped by everything. And then they're going to try and head down here and unload. And they will not make it into the position. So what you have to do is give fast move, unload, and then they will make it there. And generally, they will still get there quicker than the enemy, because the enemy reinforcements in. The quickest way for them, arguably, is to come down this centre road and turn right, but they're going to get sniped by all of your units. Usually, you can get some kind of unit in here to snipe them on the way. Or, my preferred method is to come down here and then do a move command across the open ground. Along the far edge of the battlefield, and usually they're far enough away that they can't get sniped, but it's still a really slow move into there, so you're not going to get there before the red player is going to get there. Okay, hopefully you all got that. I did have to kind of film this a couple of times, and hopefully in editing it all makes sense and it's all sharp and you understand. The tactic is to push a center attack, but we're not going to do it with infantry just going through the city in CQC combat. We're going to get up supporting equipment. We're going to get up crossfire. And then once that's established, we're going to barrel through with 15, 20-point infantry. We're going to surrender what's in there. And we're just going to steamroll this center position. That's the idea. Let's see how it goes. Live commentary coming up. We're up against the first Fallschirmjäger playing balanced income. I think my plan of attack is to try and go down this area here, down the side of the town, kind of try and get in the town, because I don't think I'm going to beat him infantry versus infantry. I mean, that would be surprising to beat first Fallschirmjäger infantry v infantry, so I've got to try and utilise my tanks as best I can. I think that's... and I don't have great supporting weapons, so that's my kind of thoughts.
Патронов нет! Капитан.
Открой бойцы!
Так точно.
Don't want to give him the left, but I'm also a little bit worried. Okay, he's got a tiger. Interesting. Let's divert this Valentine. I can't take on a Tiger, so we'll just try and avoid the Tiger as best we can. Panzer is close range, so we're just going to try and go around them. Ooh. Wasn't expecting aircraft. My sniper's down. We're trying to overwhelm him with vehicles. Oh shoot. Need to think about how I can take away that 40's advantage. He's got a long range. Air Force. He's going to push the left. Ah, this guy can. I'm not sure exactly where he is. Shoot, no infantry. This is a really experimental action by me right now. Attacking the right. Don't want to waste that bomber. I need the Pak 40 to fire. There it is. Ah, damn it. No, not indirect fire that. I think I'm too far away. Yes, we got rid of it. We might be able to rush in another one. We've got a 1410. Okay, he actually beat whatever's there, so I don't exactly know what's there. Okay, hopefully they don't have stuff on them. He's worried about that, I think. I know he's got some Panzer somewhere. Okay, now we can push our infantry through. As long as he doesn't have anything else that's heavy. Not really. Oh, another Pak 40. Let's get on it. Not very quick on the reactions. But hopefully that bomber's going to hit the spot. it's firing unopposed right now.
Примкнуть штыки!
Я думаю, меня подбили.
Bitte, nicht schießen!
Мальчики в строю!
Внимание, замечены парtisans. Все наружу. Мотивация. Дайте готово.
I'm getting a lot of lag here.
Дайте готово. Товарищ, не стреляй.
We're going to need some AA up anytime soon. I've also got to remember the right isn't that strong.
Жду приказов. Танк готов. Доставлю вас туда в доли секунды. Есть приказы, морской.
А машина!
Reload while we can.
Ищу жертву. Расцветали яблони рожи, поплыли туману над рекой. Выходила за берег Катюша.
Hopefully we'll be able to take the flat gun down. Yeah.
Внимание, замечены парtisans. Готовы, товарищ капитан.
Okay, looks like a renewed attack on the right.
Увидите фрица, стреляйте без замедления.
Let's try and hit that.
Пронесло. Молодец, наводчик. Да, товарищ.
Hopefully we can kill that flat gun.
Боеприпасов не осталось. Готов переводить. Так. Партизаны ждут ваших приказов, товарищ. Вхожу в зону ПВО.
Okay, is the tank up there? Tiger. Let's try and get away. Why did you do that? You might have been able to get away with them. One infantry for over here.
Куда мы направляемся?
Let's just try and exploit flags while we got the chance.
Да, товарищ. Если вы видите. Готов, товарищ. Доставлю вас туда в секунды. Вот.
We'll try and hit them. I want to strengthen my left a little bit. We'll get some AT guns up
Вот.
as well.
Занят. Просто скажите, где они находятся. Это Сергей. Цель замечена. В полной боевой готовности, товарищ.
Okay, this is looking good, but I'm very worried.
Отступаем медленно. Товарищ командир, выпущу вас там.
Ваши приказания?
Okay, we can now concentrate on the right.
Да? Внимание, замечены фашисты. Выпущу вас там.
On the left, sorry.
Куда мы направляемся?
Ooh,
Нужны
I'm gonna bring out some anti-air.
Товарищ, он стреляет. Да, товарищ.
Okay, the one problem I've got is tigers right now.
Доложить нечего. Да, ваша карета вас ждет, товарищ.
So all of these are now falling back. I'm in a little bit of trouble here.
Готовы к шагу.
Вижу противника.
Четко и ясно. Есть приказ.
19.5 though, we've only got like 3 minutes left, so let's not waste these 3 minutes. Oh, look at that afterglow, look how close he was.
Куда мы направляемся?
You should have surrendered by now.
Готов для пунктов противника. Внимание. Замечены фашисты. На полной скорости.
Стрелки готовы.
Come on. Why wouldn't these guys surrender? Is it because he's unarmored?
Что нового? Просто скажите, где они находятся.
Pin that down.
А Берлин, товарищи!
Don't actually have any pushing forces over on the left. We can move these guys across though.
Замечены фашисты.
Вытащите меня отсюда.
Let's get some more aircraft.
Направляйтесь в квадрат. Диспей 0.
He's got quite a lot of AA up here.
Фактов не осталось.
Ooh, he might be able to take that back.
Ваша карета вас ждет, товарищ.
We're still 24 though, so we've got positions. It's just destroying tigers, which is the problem. I'm actually going to bring these all the way back.
Вижу противника.
It's this 2 wall down here. Kind of deciding what to do with those Panzerschrecks.
Нужны боеприпасы.
Try and get an off-map him. And something on the left to start pushing, hopefully.
Смотрите под ноги.
Let's reveal what's here.
Оружие на изготовку.
One of those Panzerschrecks went down.
Противника.
This gun went down. He has got Panzerfausts.
Стреляйте без
Actually, we'll control. Oh no, don't unload.
Так точно.
Try and get one down there. The one that didn't unload.
Да, товарищ капитан.
It's 42 seconds. We're still okay for now. Moving these guys down really helped.
Готов переводить.
You didn't expect so many tanks. Yeah.
Вижу противника.
Что-то попадать в трубы. Боеприпасов
To be fair,
больше нет.
that tactic, I did play for that tactic,
Да, товарищ.
and
Товарищ, он
I
стреляет.
thought it was my only chance because I didn't think I was going to win infantry on infantry. So I thought my only chance is to try and get the tank advantage early on and then bring in the infantry once we blasted through. So I am quite pleased that that tactic worked quite successfully, if I'm honest. What can you say? Play to your own strengths, play to the enemy's weaknesses. I knew he was going to be strong at infantry. I knew he was going to be relatively weak on the tank front in terms of... I thought he might have some Stug 4s. I don't know the division well enough. I think this is a problem with a lot of my game knowledge is... I know the unit knowledge really well, but in terms of the division that I'm facing, I know the broad spectrum of units they're likely to have, but I don't know specific units. So I didn't know he was likely to have Tigers in that deck. So when I saw the Tiger, I was initially surprised. But luckily for me, it was over on the left-hand side, which was no factor for my plan, my objective. And in fact, it kind of helped me out because I switched my Valentine resources that were on the left-hand side over to the right because I thought, well, that Tiger's cost him quite a lot. So let's pool all our resources into that one kind of spot. We'll go around the sides of the town. I didn't want to engage infantry on infantry until I had enough supporting weaponry from those tanks, enough supporting fire to hit the houses from the side, and then we'll just barrel up the roads. So I'm kind of chuffed with my own tactic there. And also I needed to get it done quickly because I thought he's playing balanced income, so obviously we're on Maverick. We need to get this done before C phase. So that was I guess that was a game where you don't always have to play the same tactic over and over again. I know a lot of people don't enjoy the maps, and sometimes one of the complaints is the game can become a bit two-dimensional because all the flag positions on maps are in the same spot. So you end up playing the same game over and over again. Now, for me, I don't like playing the same divisions like consistently. So the Battle Group AAR reviews, they're really good for me because I get to pick fresh divisions kind of each week almost, which keeps it a little bit fresh for me. But the other thing is you don't have to do the same tactic over and over again. I mean, if you want to farm wins on the leaderboard, then yeah, I guess you do whatever's the best tactic at the time. But if you're not too interested in that, if you're more interested in having fun in quick play and ranked, then you don't actually have to do the same tactic every single time. On that map, I think that's the first time I've ever realistically done that tactic where we've gone down that centre town. The objective has been going through the centre town, but rather than go through it with swarms of infantry, we kind of go along the sides with tanks and supporting weaponry until we can destroy the enemy infantry and then push through. I've never really done that tactic before. So, you know, it's fresh, it's fun. And clearly my opponent wasn't expecting it. So you can get fun games, you know, if you don't do the same tactic all the time. But if you do want to farm wins on the leaderboard, if that's your objective, then, well, yeah, it perhaps isn't going to be the best gameplay over and over again. It was quite important for us to take out those pack 40s early on, so I'm really pleased we were successful with the 2 lag 3s, and it looks like the second one we did get it despite losing sight of it, because when I saw the pack 40, I know that in A phase the pack 40 doesn't have a lot of, you don't get a lot of availability. I think you get 2 or 3 at most. So when I saw the pack 40, I thought, he's not got many pack 40s, so if I can get rid of the pack 40s, we can keep our tanks alive. And obviously our tanks were the main advance in A phase, so I needed to keep them alive at all costs. So that's why it was so important for me to get rid of those pack 40s, and we did do that quite successfully. The other one looks like it did go down to a Rozvedka pushing forwards. It might have got it in the truck. This was the one that pushed really far forwards to hit the flak 38 on top of the hill, and it eventually would have gone down to the Tiger up there on the top of the hill. And then, yeah, that's kind of it. We did actually get the Valentine Mark 9 kill on a Tiger. Again, I've been singing the praises of the Valentine Mark 9. Since the range change updates, the Valentine Mark 9 has become quite the little unit, I'm telling you. I'm really enjoying that unit. If you use it effectively, and especially against the right enemy tanks, like the Valentine Mark 9, if it's going to beat a Tiger, it has to be close range. So just put it in like a light forest where it can only fire at 500 meters or something like that. And if the Tiger comes into that kind of range, it's in killing range. And the rate of fire on the Valentine Mark 9 is like double the Tiger. I think the Tiger's 5 rounds a minute and the Valentine Mark 9's like 10, 11, 12, depends how up vetted it is as well. I think at 3 stars it's like 15 rounds a minute or something ridiculous. So if that's 15 rounds a minute, that's 3 times as fast as a Tiger. So for every Tiger shot, you're going to get 3 shots in. That's pretty good. Pretty good. And the T-34-76 Rozvedka, having those recon tanks in there as well, I think that did help me out. They are fairly cheap early tanks. at least when you compare them to Shermans. And I like the way I've set up the deck where I've got the Shermans in B phase and C phase, because B phase I've got my majority income, my 180 points, so that's when my Sherman comes in. Sherman's still a great tank, but at 80 points it finally, I think, is in the right spot where it is kind of expensive. So you do have to think, you know, do I want that in A phase when getting numbers onto the battlefield is most important? And that's why I've set the deck up with the Valentine Mark 9 early on, because you can just get more of them out onto the field, you know, at a cheaper price. And actually, if you use them in the right way and engage the right tanks with them, they can outperform the Shermans. So that's definitely a difference to 3rd Mechanized Corps now than at the very start of the game. At the start of the game, you would have picked Shermans in every single card, no questions asked. And you'd have looked at the Valentine Mark 9 and gone, puff, why do I need a Valentine when I've got a Sherman? Whereas now, you know, you pick those Valentines early on, they're arguably the weaker tank, and then you pick the Shermans in Phase B when you've got some more cash. I love it. I love it. There we have it. Victory on SLOWEST quest, 15 minutes, 29 seconds. Commiseration to my opponent. He did put up a good fight, but we did, you know, our aim was to overwhelm him early on, and it's unfortunate because when I get overwhelmed, look, if I'd have been playing against myself in that situation, I'd have... It's always hard when you're being Maverick spammed, you know, and I hate it when it's happening, but it's obviously a tactic that wins. And when you're playing a Maverick deck, well, that's your tactic. You've got to get numbers out onto the battlefield as quickly as possible and just overwhelm the enemy. And unfortunately, it's pretty darn horrible to play against. So I apologise to my opponent, but sometimes you have to play that way if you're going to get the victory. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I am Alpha Bird. I will see you next time.